Rain crashed against the enormous windows. A wedding photograph lay shattered across the marble floor. Amara stood several feet away, tears running silently down her face. Across from her stood Kang Jun-ho, the Korean billionaire she had married. His fists were clenched. His expression was broken. Amara held an old folder against her chest. "Tell me the truth." Jun-ho said nothing. She opened the folder. Inside were photographs of her father, old company records, and documents connecting Jun-ho's family to the collapse of her father's business. Her voice trembled. "You married me because you wanted revenge." Jun-ho closed his eyes. Amara whispered, "Was any of it real?" He opened his eyes. She looked directly at him. "Or was I just part of your revenge?" To understand how the woman he planned to destroy became the woman he couldn't live without, we have to go back to the beginning. If you love emotional Korean romance stories filled with secrets, betrayal, and unexpected twists, subscribe now, because this story is only beginning. Kang Jun-ho was 30 years old. He was the CEO of Han Corporation. Powerful, wealthy, respected, and completely incapable of forgiving. 10 years earlier, his father had lost almost everything after a business partnership collapsed. The company was ruined. His father's reputation was destroyed. And eventually, the humiliation became too much. He died believing one man was responsible. David Obi, a Nigerian businessman who had once been his father's closest partner. Jun-ho never forgot his father's final words. "Never trust the Obi family." Jun-ho had spent 10 years believing those words. Then his investigators found David Obi's daughter, Amara Obi, 25 years old. Brilliant, hardworking, living modestly while studying and working in Seoul. Jun-ho stared at her photograph. He didn't see a woman. He saw an opportunity. It's time to make the Obi family pay. Amara sat across from Jun-ho. She had no idea why one of Korea's richest men wanted to meet her. He pushed a contract across the desk. "Your father's company still has outstanding debts." Amara stiffened. "How do you know about my family?" He ignored the question. "I can make every debt disappear." She stared at him. "And what do you want?" Jun-ho looked directly into her eyes. "Marriage." Amara almost laughed. "You're serious?" 1 year. No love, no expectations, no interference in each other's private lives. She looked at the contract. "Why me?" His answer was cold. "Because I believe this arrangement will benefit both families." It was a lie. A carefully planned lie. Amara thought about her father's struggles. She thought about the future she had been trying to build. Finally, she picked up the pen. "But understand something." Jun-ho raised an eyebrow. "I may marry you." She signed. "But you will never own me." For the first time, something flickered in his eyes. Respect. Their wedding was small. No romance. No celebration. Just signatures. When Amara entered the Han mansion, the servants stared. Some whispered, "She doesn't belong here." Amara stopped. She turned around. "If you have something to say, say it where I can hear you." The servant immediately looked down. Jun-ho watched from the staircase. He had expected fear. Instead, she stood taller. That night, they had dinner together. Silence filled the enormous room. Finally, Jun-ho spoke. "You don't have to pretend this marriage is real." Amara put down her fork. "I wasn't planning to." He looked at her. "I married you because I needed something from you." She nodded. "And I married you because my family needed help. She leaned forward. But don't mistake that for weakness. Jun-ho stared at her. You bought a marriage. She stood. You didn't buy my dignity. Then she walked away. Jun-ho remained at the table. And for the first time, his revenge didn't feel as satisfying as he had imagined. Weeks passed. Jun-ho kept telling himself the same thing. The marriage was temporary. Amara was part of his plan. Nothing more. But she kept surprising him. She learned Korean. She helped employees who were struggling. She challenged executives who underestimated her. And she never treated Jun-ho like a billionaire. One evening at a company gala, a wealthy businessman approached her. He looked her up and down. You're lucky. A woman like you doesn't usually get into this world. Amara smiled politely. I worked for everything I have. He laughed. Of course. He reached for her wrist. Before Amara could respond, Jun-ho appeared. He grabbed the man's hand and removed it from her. Don't touch my wife. The man froze. So did Amara. Jun-ho's voice was dangerously calm. Ever again. Later that night, Amara found Jun-ho alone in the garden. You didn't have to defend me. I know. Then why did you? He looked away. I don't like people disrespecting what belongs to me. Amara frowned. I don't belong to you. Jun-ho looked back at her. For once, he had no answer. If you're enjoying this story, subscribe now, because the secret Amara is about to discover will change their marriage forever. One night, Amara couldn't sleep. She entered Jun-ho's study looking for a book. Then she noticed something. A drawer wasn't completely closed. Inside was a folder. She pulled it out. The words on the cover made her heart stop. Obi Family Confidential. She opened it. Photographs. Financial records. Her father's company. Her family. And then she saw a handwritten note. Marry the daughter, gain her trust, destroy the family completely. Amara's hands began shaking. She turned another page. There was a photograph of herself, taken before she had ever met Jun-ho. She covered her mouth. No. Then she found the original marriage plan. Her entire relationship with him had been planned. The romantic dinners. The company events. The moments when he had protected her. Everything. Or so she thought. The door opened. Jun-ho froze. Amara was standing there with the folder. Her eyes were filled with tears. You knew who I was before you met me. Jun-ho couldn't speak. You planned this marriage. Silence. You wanted me to fall in love with you. His eyes dropped. Amara's voice broke. And then you were going to destroy my family. Jun-ho whispered. Amara. She stepped back. Don't. Jun-ho followed her. Everything you found is real. Amara looked at him. So it was all fake. No. She laughed bitterly. Then tell me what was real. Jun-ho struggled to speak. It started as revenge. Her eyes filled with tears. But somewhere along the way, he stopped. I fell in love with you. Amara shook her head. You expect me to believe that? I don't expect anything. He took a step closer. I found something 3 months ago. He pulled another file from his jacket. Your father wasn't responsible for destroying my father's company. Amara froze. What? Jun-ho opened the file. The real culprit was my father's business partner. The man had manipulated the accounts, transferred money into secret companies, and blamed David Obi. Jun-ho had discovered the truth months earlier, but he had been afraid to tell Amara, afraid that once she learned how their marriage began, she would leave him. So you knew my father was innocent? Yes. And you still kept me in the dark? Jun-ho lowered his head. Yes. Her voice became almost a whisper. You didn't just lie to me once. You built our entire relationship on a lie. She walked toward the door. Jun-ho didn't stop her. Because this time, he knew he had no right. 3 days later, Jun-ho called an emergency board meeting. Executives filled the room. His father's former business partner sat confidently at the table, until Jun-ho walked in with a stack of documents. For 10 years, my family blamed an innocent man. The room went silent. He placed the evidence on the table. David Obi was framed. The former partner stood. This is ridiculous. Jun-ho looked at him. You falsified the accounts. Another document. You transferred company money. Another. And you used my father's grief to make him believe the Obi family was responsible. The man's face changed. Jun-ho turned toward the cameras. Yes, my family made a terrible mistake. He took a breath. And I made an even worse one. Everyone stared at him. I married an innocent man's daughter because I wanted revenge. The room erupted. But Jun-ho continued. I was wrong. He publicly cleared David Obi's name. He ordered the company's legal team to restore his reputation. And he announced compensation for the family. Then he said something nobody expected. I don't know whether my wife will ever forgive me. His voice cracked. But she deserves the truth even if she never comes back. Weeks passed. Jun-ho never called Amara. He never pressured her. He simply did what he had promised. He corrected the records. He apologized publicly. He restored her father's name. And he walked away. Then one evening, Amara returned to the garden where they had once talked beneath the lights. Jun-ho turned. He couldn't believe it. Amara. She smiled faintly. You cleared my father's name. Yes. You lost investors because of it. Yes. You destroyed your family's reputation. I deserve the consequences. She stepped closer. Why didn't you come looking for me? Jun-ho looked at her. Because I finally understood that loving you means respecting your choice. Silence. Amara's eyes filled with tears. I spent weeks trying to hate you. Jun-ho lowered his eyes. And she smiled. I wasn't very good at it. He laughed softly. For the first time in weeks, the tension disappeared. Jun-ho slowly reached for her hand. But he stopped before touching her. He waited. Amara looked at his hand. Then she placed hers inside it. He married her because he wanted revenge. He expected to destroy her family. Instead, she destroyed the hatred inside him. Amara looked into his eyes. If we start again, there will be no secrets. Jun-ho smiled. No secrets. And no revenge. Never again. She squeezed his hand. Then maybe. She smiled. We can finally have a real marriage. Jun-ho's eyes filled with emotion. Maybe. Amara laughed. Don't push your luck, billionaire. They laughed together. For the first time, their marriage wasn't a contract. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't an arrangement. It was a choice. Sometimes the person you plan to hurt becomes the person who teaches you how to love. If this story touched your heart, like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, and tell me in the comments, Would you have forgiven Jun-ho?